So anyways, my pregnancy only lasted 2 trimesters. We are going to get into the big scare of this whole process. I'll let Daddy really take it over. What happened on the Friday, September 27th. Can never forget that date.
What were you doing? You were like cooking or something?
Yeah, we came home after work.
She said that she felt like some water, like, you know, flow out of her. So then we didn't know if that was just extra, like, what do you call it?
It's discharge, like, because when you're pregnant, you do get discharge, and it gets larger and larger throughout your pregnancy. So I just thought it was discharge.
So overnight, you know, we went to sleep. Bare water came out of her, like her back really bust. She woke up, it was a pool of water everywhere. It just was not cool. That, you know, kind of set us into panic mode a little bit. Starting to, okay, boom, we got to get to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. So we called the midwives super early. We called the midwives. You know, they said to come over to the hospital just to check and see there's some kind of test that they can do to see if, you know, it's actual discharge or if it's actually the fluid, like the
amniotic fluid.
Amniotic fluid. So we went over there, they tested, said it was the amniotic fluid, which meant the bag had burst, which, you know, had us super panicked. They were trying to be all reassuring and stuff, but they couldn't deal with us there at the hospital. So when that had happened, Chanel's mom came up and they were trying to explain to us and see if they can get a bed for us at either Mount Sinai here in Canada or Sunnybrook. Yeah, Sunnybrook. And Mount Sinai was way downtown. Man didn't want to go all the way downtown. We live in Ajax on the east side. So they got us a bed in Sunnybrook, which was beautiful. And we just waited. The ambulance came, strapped her up. And I got some pictures of her looking like a lunatic, like a straight jacket lunatic, all strapped up. They put her in the ambulance. I had to leave her, go home, get a bunch of stuff, come back down to the hospital, meet them. And that's exactly what happened. They brought her to the hospital. I showed up later. From my side of things, you know, I'm like, yo, like, this is crazy. What's going on? I'm starting to get lost, you know.
But he was awesome.
Not even thinking about, like, I didn't even know how to think, to be honest. I'm just confused and kind of pissed off at the same time that why this pick me now stay inside, like, what's happening right now. And I'm trying to figure out, what did we do? Like, did we mess up? I don't even remember if we did anything that could pop the bag. I'm just thinking like a bag, like it's a bag inside of her that could pop, you know? Like a balloon.
A balloon, you mean? But he didn't mention that I had to do further tests, just because my water broke so early and I'm not feeling any contractions. They had to do tests of infection, and because the baby is likely to get an infection because of my water being broken, because that water was like a protective layer for her, and because now that it's kind of what, like seeping out. Yeah,
like,
it's
exposed.
Yeah, she's likely to get an infection or bacteria in there. So I did tests. I also had an injection of a steroid to help her lungs in case I deliver prematurely. So I did that. That injection is like right near my ass.
Near?
Right close to my ass cheek. Okay. It was out my butt. Sorry.
The body shot.
It was
Right.
It was out my butt, the injection, and it hurts. It hurt so bad, but I knew it was worth it. And I had to get 2 of them. So I did one at Markham Stouffville, and the second one was to be given to me at Sunnybrook. When we got to Sunnybrook, I had to get registered, and it was, family came to come see me. I was in the high risk pregnancy unit, so a lot of patients there are pregnant with twins, complications, premature. I got a bed. I was with another pregnant woman. Her water broke early as well, but the baby has been in there for a while, which is crazy.
All right, so wait, let me cut you off.
Yeah.
The way how that works, if you're placenta, is that it?
No,
What's the bag?
it's just called the
If
sac. It's just called the sac.
If your back bursts, right? There's a chance that your baby will still stay in for as long as it takes to fully develop, you know? Like come out 40 weeks, whatever. And so that's what they do. They just pretty much sit them down and tell them, yo, chill out, let the baby grow. Let's see how long the baby stays in for. If the baby wants to stay in for as long as possible, they're not gonna force the baby to come out, you know?
Yeah.
So this woman, like, she's a trooper because her baby was in there. They tell you to stay kind of as much bedridden as possible. She's just, every second she's out. She's going outside. She's going down the street. She's taking walks outside. Like, yo.
Yeah, this was my neighbor beside me. Yeah, she was very active. I was very surprised. Like, I wasn't doing as much as her, but I was still trying to, you know, occupy myself because the hospital is boring. So I was like, I had people come and see me, so we would go to like a family room, and that's pretty much all I would go and walk to, which wasn't too far from my room. But she would like go outside. She was a smoker. She just did the whole nine. She did everything. Yeah. And her baby was still in there. Even after I gave birth to Nyla, her baby was still in there. And I'm like, wow. It was crazy. Yeah. I guess everyone's different, right? So. Yeah,
so that's literally was the week. Chanel just in bed all the time, looking all miserable, getting depressed.
Miserable?
She was trying to keep her hopes up and all that, but she was like, oh, her energy was whack. All right, as you could expect. Your energy was whack.
You're making it sound like I was a miserable old lady.
No, not like miserable like that, but just kind of like tired, just beat down, just worried. You know, you could imagine what that would be like. Yeah, so for that whole week, the routine was from me to just wake up, go to work, boom, come straight from work, go to the hospital, and then I'm at the hospital till like 11, 12 in the night, and then go home, sleep for a little bit, back to work. Just that for the whole week, and it sucked. It really did suck. But then, you know, after a whole bunch of testing and all that, it really just came down to one Friday night again. Here we go with the Friday nights. First thing happened Friday night, the next thing happened Friday night, which was the real thing. We had some friends over, some family over. We were playing dominoes.
You were playing cards.
Cards. We were playing cards.
Oh my god.
It's all a blur, yo. It's all a blur. We were playing cards.
How did you forget that?
And literally as soon as they left, you know, I was about to leave too. She was doing her last little check for the night to see how Nyla was doing on the heart monitor and all that.
Yeah, they checked me. You didn't explain. Yeah. They checked me. They monitor me and the baby. So they check my blood pressure, my temperature, make sure I don't have any infection. So I was still leaking throughout that whole week I was in the hospital. So they would check to make sure the leakage wasn't a different color, because it was just clear. If it's clear, that means it's good. If it was any other color, that means there could be a sign of an infection. They would also put a fetal monitor on my stomach and check her heartbeat and see if it's all right. Most of the time it was high, so they would have me on there for an hour, which is very uncomfortable because you're just lying there and you kind of have to be still. You can't move around. And it was uncomfortable. So I guess that Friday night, Friday, October 4th, after all the games that we were playing with our friends and family that came to visit me.
I usually would have just stayed for the last checkup of the night.
So the last checkup of the night, was different because at this point I was apparently feeling contractions, and I did not know they were contractions until the nurse, because on the monitor the nurse can also see if I'm having a contraction. So they were seeing that, and they were asking me what I was feeling when they were seeing it happen. And I was just feeling like tightness in my stomach, and I normally feel that. It wasn't anything so intense, but then when they told me it was a contraction, I felt like that's when it just got more intense, and it was all in my head. So they're like, okay, we're gonna start counting the contractions, but like it wasn't really, like, it was long, like the contraction intervals were long between each other. So they did also measure to see how many centimeters dilated I was, but I was just 1, so it wasn't a concern. And then her heart rate started dropping every time I got a contraction. So at that point they were concerned because the baby was getting distress when I was having the contractions. So they told me that yeah, so they really just told me I might have to do a C-section, and this baby's coming out today. So I was...
They didn't say that the baby was coming today.
They said, pretty much said...
They said it's very possible that because what they're seeing, they're not really liking it. So if it doesn't correct itself, like if nothing changes for the better, then she might have to do a C-section. Might.
Okay, they said might, but they made me sign the consent form, and then right after
literally
I signed it, like before I could even like take the pen off of the paper, they said, we're going into emergency C-section right now.
Sounds suspect. Me not trust them. Me not trust that vibes how everything happened. It's like they coerced us into signing the paper so they could just instantly.
Which, like, at the end of the day, I'm happy everything went out good, but I just wish I could have done the birth naturally instead of doing a C-section, because for starters, this is my first child, so I wanted to do everything naturally. I wanted to get that natural experience. That's why I also chose a midwife, and it's like I didn't get that opportunity at all.
Where's there candy in your hand?
Because I'm eating candy now. Okay, I didn't get that opportunity at all.
Anyway, let me break down what happened that night, right? So right after the whole, sign the paper stuff, literally another nurse busted in, and she's like, yeah, we don't like what we're seeing.
No, the doctor came in.
Was that the doctor?
The one that like put her fingers on me is the doctor.
Anyway, we don't like what we're seeing, and we're gonna have to do the C-section tonight. Holy
language.
I mean, holy beep. Everything just went out the window, like.
Yeah.
Panic, confusion, like.
I was crying.
I'm like thinking, like, yo, stop, like, no, like this can't be real. This, like, baby's not supposed to be coming. Stop. And they were quick with it too. Like they had another stretcher, boom. It's like they knew. You know what I'm saying? They had the stretcher ready already outside. They strapped her in, wheeling her in. They're trying to.
They didn't strap me anywhere. I had to put on a gown. I had to remove like my necklace, certain jewelry, and then they put me like I pretty much put myself on the. No, they just brought the bed I was in. And then they switched it for a different bed.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I thought it was another bed.
I didn't get put in another bed.
Oh, that's when they were putting you back. They had a different bed and then switched you over.
Oh, okay.
It's all a blur.
Yeah.
As I said, it's all a blur. That timeline is a little scratchy.
Yeah, but also we didn't mention that they did. Like during my days in the hospital, I did get to talk to a baby doctor and they were telling me how like a premature baby would look and everything I would experience if I had a premature baby. So we weren't going in totally blindfolded, because if she was gonna be preemie, we kind of knew the situation at that point. She was gonna be put in an incubator, she's gonna be in the NICU. It was like they told me that information. It wasn't like we didn't know. Brought to the operation room, and you can go on to what happened.
Okay.
He kind of, I was just in like shock. I was crying as well, because I was just like, this cannot be happening now. I don't want a C-section, but I know I have to have it. So yeah, go ahead.
All right, so they're wheeling us over to the operating room. I had to remove my jewelry. I had to put my phone on silent, but I could keep it on me, but I couldn't bust out the phone to take videos or pictures or nothing like that.
But they promoted that.
After a certain point. But at first they didn't want me to take my stuff out, right? And then, they brought her in. They told me that they were going to have me outside for a little while. In that time that I was outside, I was just like, I don't even know what you call it, the feeling. It's kind of like the world is collapsing and you don't know what to do. And you can't do anything about it. I was just like, I didn't want this to happen. That's all I knew. I just didn't want her to be, coming out like that. And I just wanted everything to be all right. So I messaged my mom. I called my brethren, and I called her mom, and the two of them came. They came like, I think after everything was done. Because they're super quick.
They came while I was in the operation room.
No,
Because they were calling you on your phone and you couldn't answer it.
Yeah, that's like literally at the end. That's just before they wheeled you back over to the other side. You don't even know that.
No, babe. Remember, you just came in and you were talking to the
they were calling me to find out what's going on for real.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was like panicking, so I don't know nothing. I don't know anything.
Like right after she went in the operating room, there was another couple who were having twins, and the same situation. The twins were coming and they were under some pressure, so it was going to be a back-to-back operation, and there was a baby that came just before that same style. So it was nerve-wracking, and I wasn't sure if Chanel was going first or if they were going first because she has twins or what was the case. After Chanel went in the operating room, they wheeled her in. I was outside. And another couple got wheeled in, and they took his woman in, and he was outside. So it was just me and him outside, and we just didn't know what was going on. We were putting on our little suit, and we were confused. And he was breaking down. Man was calling his people. I was talking to my people. Then they brought me inside, see her on the table, and they're just prepping her. That was hectic because she didn't know what was going on, but they put like 7 needles in her spine, with strings attached and stuff.
Yeah, it was like the worst part of the whole C-section was having them do the epidural. It's the epidural he's talking about. So they put it like the lower part of my spine here, and it's to numb up to from the bottom of my breast down to my feet. So yeah, that was the worst part. And even like the IV, they were trying to find a place to put my IV, and they couldn't, and they managed to let my whole hand bleed at that point.
Yeah, because they were trying to find veins and they couldn't.
Yeah.
Thick skin, like they were choking her all over the place.
Yeah, it was awful. There was blood everywhere. And then yeah, so the needle was bad. I had to be like hunched over like this, like I was like, ugh. And he was in front of me, and what are they called? The
anesthesiologist.
Yeah,
boom,
that.
Big word, boom.
Yeah.
One thing you did.
She was behind me, and she was explaining what was going on. So she's like, you're gonna feel a sting. And it felt, I can't even explain it. It felt so bad. I was so shocked. It felt like, I've never got a bee sting, but whoever has got a bee sting, it probably feels like that. It felt bad. And then she said it was gonna burn, and it burned like I felt like my back was on fire. And then she's like, your leg is gonna twitch. And my leg just started twitching and moving out of nowhere. Like, I was panicking because I felt like, oh hell no. This is not natural. This is not normal. Somebody help me. So I was like holding on to Shaq, and I was like crying my eyes out. He's trying to comfort me. Like, he's amazing when it comes to like support and comforting. But I was like, babe, you cannot tell me that this doesn't hurt because you're not feeling it. And he's trying to calm me down, but anyways, done and over with. So they put me back on the bed to lay down, and they started the procedure pretty much. And how did the whole like experience in the operation feel to you in the operating room?
I just felt like a fish out of the water first. Like, I couldn't do anything. I was there with her, but I was always in the doctor's way, you know? I was in the
surgeon's way?
They told me, here, you sit right here, but I always felt like they had to pass some cord, pass this, pass that, just all around me. So I was trying to get out of their way, but at the same time, no matter where I go, I was in the way. And that's all before I even knew that they started cutting her open. Like, they cut her open before. I never heard them say, okay, we're starting.
Yeah.
You heard that?
You heard that. You told me. I heard that. They're like, okay, we're starting. I heard them say that.
I saw when they started.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not looking.
They had like...
Yeah, so they just had
a blanket.
a sheet.
Yeah. They had it kind of put up, but I could see in the mirror up top above our heads.
It's not really a mirror. Stop making them think
it's like a glass, like...
It was a TV up there.
No, I'm talking... There's a different part.
Oh,
okay, fine.
well, I wasn't looking at that
There
part.
was a TV up there as well.
Okay.
But there was also a glass part that I could see what they were doing.
But the TV didn't have like my parts showing. It was just the reflection of a TV being like off. Like the TV was off and the reflection you could see. And I kind of glimpsed and I was like, oh, hell no, not looking at that again. So like, yeah, during the procedure, how long? The procedure took an hour. Baby was out in about...
It was shorter than an hour, but everything in total was an hour.
Okay, yeah. So everything in total was an hour. Baby, like, Nyla came out. We started the operation at like 12 something, no?
Yeah, I think
it was
like
Friday.
12:06 or something like that.
And she came out 12:36.
36. Like,
so
yeah.
about 30 minutes she took to come out. Or not even, sorry, because it wasn't the whole time.
Yeah, the whole procedure was like, it was really, trust me, everything happened super quick, but it just felt long in the moment.
Yeah, so after she was out, they barely told us she came out. They told us after the fact.
They didn't even tell us.
Yeah, they didn't even tell us. They came around, like one of the surgeons came around to my head and told us both that, you know, the baby's out, baby's good. They took the baby to go, like, you know, do whatever test they have to do for the baby. So he got to leave me and go see the baby. So he went. And he took a video, and she was like the sweetest thing. Like, how did you feel when you first saw her? Because you were the first one to see her.
I was all conflicted. That's how I felt. I didn't. There was no moment of like, oh, my baby's born, because literally they brought me over there, and I didn't know if I should go over there right away, if I should leave Chanel, because Chanel's still cut open and she's out of it. Like, trust me, she's out of it. She's like the whole time, you can tell that she was really going under some stressful stuff, because I've never seen her act like that, you know. It was not nice. It was not a nice feeling. But I didn't know where to go, because now I'm split. Like, she's cut open on the table. I didn't even know baby was born, but they told us that she is, so I could go over there now. Yeah, I went over and I asked them if I could take a video before I even really saw her, and they said, yeah, you know, she come and see her, she's right here. Yeah, she was in an incubator, but like a half cut one. And they just had her like in a bag and all this, like she had bags around her
to keep her warm,
all kind of stuff in her
Tubes.
Stuff in her mouth, face, and all that. But the coolest part was that she was wide awake. Like, she was just like looking, like she was just scanning everything. I'm like, yo, my baby's so smart. Born super early, but smart as hell. Her eyes are super bright. That was cool to see. That was nice. That gave me some reassurance. But they told me that they rushed her out of there so quick because she wasn't breathing right away. So they had the little support on her. But by the time I got over there, she was breathing. But they still had the little support going for her. She was breathing on her own already though. So I took a quick little video. I couldn't touch her or anything like that. Went back over by Chanel, and then, you know, I was just staying with her while they were like putting her together, and it's like you could see her body just jerking all over the place.
I was like shivering too. It was weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't cold per se, but I was shivering. It was all because of the hormones and all that kind of stuff. That's why I was shivering.
But the shock.
Yeah. And then so the procedure of a C-section, the whole like them cutting me open, like you feel the pressure. Like, yes, your body's numb, but you feel like the pressure of them pulling and moving, and it's just weird. It's not like it hurts. It doesn't hurt. It just feels weird, and it was getting to a point where it was annoying, and I just wanted them to hurry up and close me up and get me out of here. I was so done. Like, I was, just get me out of here. I want to see my child also, but I wasn't able to.
Oh, but they did after a while, like, put Nyla on the TV.
Yeah, and he showed me
that was over the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had it on, like, focused on Nyla, so you could at least see that she's alright.
Mm-hmm. So that was very nice to see. But he also took a video, so he showed me the video as well, and it just made me cry because I didn't expect to see, you know, I didn't expect to see how she would look. Like, I didn't know she would look like that. I've seen premature babies on Google, but you know, every baby's different, so I just couldn't wait to see how she would look. Yeah, and then after operation was done, they brought me into a recovery room, and I was there for another hour.
Yeah, it was an hour. It was a little more than an hour, but they said it was an
hour and a half or something. It was long. I just wanted to go to sleep, but I was also feeling pain at some point. So they were waiting for, what were they waiting for?
They were waiting for her to get stable because her pressure and all that was still all over the place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. So after that, they brought me back to my room. Then, you know, my mom came.
And our people were outside.
Yeah, and they came to see me, and I was obviously tired as hell. Just happy everything went smoothly, but tired. And were they allowed to go see her that day? I don't even remember. I was tired. No?
Couldn't. They brought her to the NICU, so that was a thing that we would go and see her after they settled her in.
So he stayed overnight with me. At first I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 o'clock. It was 3 o'clock in the morning at this point?
By the time you got back to the room.
Yeah, so from 11 o'clock on the Friday till 3 o'clock. I was tired, but I couldn't fall asleep because I had pain. So they brought me, obviously you take meds, so they brought Tylenol, painkillers, all kinds of stuff for me to take. Then I eventually got to sleep at 4. I think I finally went to sleep at 4 o'clock. I was knocked out. Nyla was born. So her full name is Nyla Harmony Samaya Alexander. And she was born 2 pounds, 5 ounces. And
a real mini pygmy. That's what she was.
Yeah, she's very small. She was born Friday, October 5th. She's going strong as a premature baby. 28 weeker, premature. There's a whole lot we want to talk about, like the whole NICU and how it was having to deal with her being in the NICU and just our day-to-day stuff we had to deal with during that time. But we want to put it in a different video for you guys. So subscribe. Leave a comment if you like anything that you're interested about, that you want us to do a video about. We are more than welcome to do one.
Leave 2 thumbs up for 9 years eat.
Subscribe, comment, and yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Shaka Zulu Nation out.
Bye.